Which? Okay.
Good to go.
Alrighty then. Hello, everybody, and welcome. It is episode 43 of the Addicted to Loot podcast. I am Brian, aka Atomic Zero, and joining me, as always, is Tom, aka Tomality. For all those new people out there,
I got free mashed potatoes today, so this might be the best day of my life.
The best day ever. It's like, I got 2 bags of Skittles. I don't even care what happens for the rest of the day.
Right, exactly. I could be set on fire, and I'd just be like, yes, okay, but, I'm not hungry.
More on mashed potatoes to come. But in case anyone out there that's just joining us for this one, in case you don't know who we are Addicted to Loot. We are, let's just say, a PC gaming conglomerate, if you will. We primarily focus around this weekly podcast where we talk about breaking news, game reviews, game reactions, what we've been playing this week, general hot topics in industry, and all other sorts of things. Every week we give away a free
sizzling hot takes.
Super hot. Burning hot.
Super hot takes.
Atomic hot. Oh, I don't know. And every week we give out a free game of the week, which is a game that you can go out and play right as we talk about it. So, more to come on that. Also, we have a Green Man Gaming partnership as a content creator partnership. So, if you ever want to have great deals on PC games or anything we talk about, please go onto our website at addictedtoloot.com and check that out. So, with all that out of the way, that is who we are. And also, we do YouTube videos and Twitch. We've been kind of giving YouTube a bit of a break.
Especially this guy. Wherever you are. I never know which direction it is. Especially Brian. So go watch him play video games on this channel.
I made a Russian friend the other day, apparently.
I love Russian friends.
Yeah. I don't know if he's going to join us, but yeah. What was his name? Morantz, I don't know, but yeah, I just started. I'm playing a game. I was live streaming RimWorld to come on that, and I was live streaming RimWorld, and all of a sudden this guy comes on. He's like, "Hi," and he starts giving me like World War II lectures on like Stalin. I'm like, "This is great! Like, come on, just keep going." Like, what is this? He's like, "Whoa, did you know that Stalin actually is like? Oh, this is interesting." He's like,
"Wow, that takes me back." You know, feel like. Forever ago, I've mentioned this before on our pod. There was an MMO that I used to play very frequently about 15 years ago now. And that was like, I was 13, 14, 15 years old and making friends from all around the world. And it's such like a formative, like social period of your life. And I value that so much. Like the friends I made during that period of time, there are probably people who this has happened with. World of Warcraft, MMOs are great for it.
I mean, anything.
But it's just so great. Like I had such a great like world opening. Friends in Germany, friends in Africa, friends all over the place, friends in Australia, which was great because of my sleeping schedule. So they were like, "Oh, good afternoon." And I was just like, "Yeah."
The nocturnal Tom. The natural environment of the wild Tom is a primarily nocturnal creature. Yeah, no, it's getting really cool. I definitely have been doing a little bit more Twitch streaming on the channel, which is twitch.tv/addictedtoloot. We're working steadily towards our goal of at least 50 followers to begin with. That will give us enough to get our Twitch affiliate ranking, which is the new Twitch ranking. Like, it's a step below a partner. So, still shooting for that. I actually should be streaming a good amount Friday and this upcoming weekend. So, if anyone wants to come and join me. Awesome. I'm actually going back and doing some old favorites that I didn't actually finish. So, I'm just going to go on and hopefully they run on my computer while streaming because I found
finishing games. What's that like?
I know. I'm going back. I'm going to try to finish Doom. And then... I'm going to try to finish that, and then I'm going to try to finish Space Hulk Deathwing, depending on how that goes. I'm just hoping that I don't set my computer on fire while I try to do it, because I tried to actually do... I bought, Bad Max off of Humble Bundle Store, which is a great little store.
I saw that! I was looking through Steam the other day, and it was like, Brian Dixon has been playing Mad Max. I was like...
I played it for all like 5 minutes because I was trying to get it to stream, and no matter how low I put the settings or how I adjusted my stream, it was just yeah. And it's like, man, my processor, damn you to hell.
I know that it's interesting. I know that Oz Mills, friend of the podcast,
Dragon Age
fantastic
D&D.
Yeah,
DM.
runs a fantastic rollout stream that we host here when they're live. But you can also find that at twitch.tv/OzMills. Really great.
One word.
He was going to stream Jade Empire earlier
Yep.
today, and he was having a lot of problems with that. And it's funny how it's just some games like...
Well,
it's like, what? You want to go live with this? I don't think so.
well, I actually was doing research into this, and for all you would-be streamers out there, so there's two paths you can go down. A, you buy a rig that rivals NASA. That's A. B, and if you have an NVIDIA card specifically, through my research, it seems like if you use Shadow Play with an NVIDIA card, it actually allows you to stream with extremely little impact to your quality. Like, it gives you no functionality or customization as like OBS or any one of the other stream applications. But they say if you purely just want to go live and play a game just with your voice ultimately, because you won't get any of the letters or your cam or anything else.
Right.
Shadow Play is the best way to go because it somehow, I don't know if it uses the GPU instead of the CPU, but it actually, they say it magically works out where it won't tank your game for even higher quality games or higher CPU intensive games. So something to keep in mind.
I use the whole GeForce Experience Shadow Play overlay stuff to do screen caps and video capture of games, and it seems low to no impact.
Yeah, so I'm actually want to try out Shadow Play. For some odd reason, my Shadow Play still doesn't work on my PC. I don't know why the hell it doesn't, but more to come on that. So, anyway, getting actually into our podcast, and like I said, if you're new to the cast and this is your first episode, we do take long tangents. It's one of the things that people love about us. It's what makes us unique.
Have they said that?
You never know.
Has anyone actually logged that opinion? Or...
Exactly. You never...
Addicted to Lou. I love when they go off topic.
Hey, there's probably a review out there that says it. Maybe.
One star.
1 star. I really wish they would stay on topic. 50 comments.
We are on iTunes, by the way. I always forget that, but if you
we're on iTunes,
we have an
Stitcher.
audio-only version, and it's on SoundCloud and iTunes.
And Stitcher.
And Stitcher.
For all those. We can probably find some other audio hosting as well. But like I said, we go on long tangents. It's one of the things that we do. It's what makes us us, and hopefully that lasts for some people, and if not... You're probably self-lifting already, so who cares? So, getting right into the news for this week. E3 is a thing, and it's actually happening. It's happening June 13th through the 15th.
That's really soon.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, I realized... It dawned on me today when at work, when someone's like, so what's next Friday? Oh, yeah, it's the 2nd. I'm like, oh my god, it's June. But... yeah, E3 is happening real soon, actually. And
actually, what this reminded me of is I was like, oh my god, that means Summer Games Done Quick is coming up, like, 'cause that's mid-July.
Yeah. I mean,
like, I'm still, like, rewatching January's AGDQ footage. I'm just like, oh, there's a new one coming.
Yeah, but it's funny, like, we're only a couple weeks away, and there's still not that many confirmed games. A lot of speculated games, but not a lot of confirmed games.
Yeah.
Some of the heavy hitters that are confirmed: Call of Duty World War II, Star Wars Battlefront 2, State of Decay 2, and all the other confirmed games are a little bit on the smaller side. There are probably not going to be any name catchers, but there are going to be a decent amount of companies and studios there. But we will be, as always, we'll have our special E3 casts probably around that week, obviously.
Probably are like 3 episodes around it.
Something like that, yeah.
Like, hey, it's coming up. Hey, it's happening. Hey, it happened.
It happened. But yeah, so we'll definitely be doing a featured cast on that when it's happening. So please stay tuned for that. And as part of this, and some of these games probably will be featured on this, there's a big spread on new Ubisoft games that are actually coming out within a year, I believe. So they're actually less than a year for all 3 of these games. We'll put them in order of which we'll be covering them. So we have Assassin's Creed, The Crew 2, and Far Cry 5, which is a big news piece this week, which is actually we'll be saving that towards last because...
like today.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, bam! So we're going to be saving that for the end of these 3 games because we're making a little feature on it. But anyway, I covered Assassin's Creed Origins a little bit 2 casts ago. It is a Assassin's Creed that's it's going back in time. It's going to be more of a prequel compared to the last one. It's going back to Egypt. And since it's Origins and not Assassin's Creed 5, I guess, is technically a sidestep Assassin's Creed, like the past 2,
like
I think.
Brotherhood and things like that.
Oh, Brotherhood. Oh my. I'm gonna completely space on the games, but yeah, we have Assassin's Creed 1, 2. There's 3, Black Flag, and we haven't had a 5 yet. So the new actual like next iteration in the true story still hasn't come out yet. All these side games are like. They're like other glimpses, and they're basically like the side story quests of of the entire thing. If you wanted to really look at it that way,
right? Because they've also got the like side-on platformer ones that are like China, India. I can't remember, but yeah, there's like an Assassin's Creed cinematic universe kind of thing going on.
Yeah, I mean, because it's kind of an interesting thing because it does do the same thing. It's hold on, what the hell? This isn't what I wanted. But
there's literally a cinematic universe. They have the film. But...
Literally, yeah, and also, which didn't really get great reviews. But hey,
I didn't watch it.
Hashtag gaming movies. They never really do that great. But yeah, Assassin's Creed is an interesting little series because it started out doing, like every other game does. Every sequel continues the story. And then they started to get into, we're skipping over sections of history. We have untouched sections of history. So they actually did like add-ons, like Assassin's Creed -1, -2, -3, just to fill in the spaces that, sometimes they featured new game concepts, new game features, other types of assassins. Or
Assassin's Creed 4, aka Assassin's Creed Pirates.
Yeah, I mean, but 3 and 4 actually allowed a continuation in the timeline, because you had Assassin's Creed 1, Assassin's Creed, Altair's Chronicles, Bloodlines, then you had Assassin's Creed 2, then you had Brotherhood, Revelations, then 3, Liberation, then Black Flag, then Freedom Cry, Creed Rogue. Is that a thing? Creed Identity,
Rogue, I know.
Creed Unity. Rogue, Identity, Unity.
Yeah.
Chronicles China, Syndicate. That was the one I was trying to think of. India.
Oh, that's the UK one, yeah.
Yeah, Syndicate is the UK one, and Unity was the one where you actually play like a Templar or something like that. I forget exactly. I think you actually play for the other side, which is interesting. But like I said, all those ones that didn't have a number in their title are kind of like add-ons there. And it kind of what gives Ubisoft, or at least Assassin's Creed series, kind of the beating the dead horse series of, oh god, it's 2018, so when's the next game? Come on. Yeah, I mean, it's just like...
this one takes place in Egg-Wiped. Egypt!
I mean, it's just like, yeah, I mean, it just seems like the studio's like, it's like, it's been 1 day since we released an Assassin's Creed game. It's been 0 days since we've released an Assassin's Creed game.
This workplace has been 364 days since Assassin's Creed.
Look at the calendar. Look at it. You see this? This is bull. We need to get something out. But anyway, that's been Assassin's Creed for a while. So Assassin's Creed Origins is going back to Egypt. It looks like they're trying to do some interesting things with it. There's going to be this one, Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flags had everything with the ship combat was a huge thing. That's one of the reasons why I actually love the game. I don't even like it for the Assassin's Creed part, which actually isn't all that bad, but the boat combat is freaking insane. A little bit.
Well, it's funny because it was like they like tested it in 3, and they're like, okay, this works really well. Let's make our pirate one now.
Assassin's Creed Origins, they will have some boat combat, but I mean it's Egypt, so how much combat can you really have in a desert? But so there's going to be actually far more horse combat. It seems like this game is going to be focusing on horse combat, much like Black Flag focused on naval combat. So that should be interesting. I mean, plus, Egypt in of itself is a great historical and lore-rich environment.
I love Egypt. Like there are not enough like ancient Greece and ancient Egypt. Like just, I'll eat it right up.
Now, did you play any of the Assassin's Creeds?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. So, like...
I've, been a part of rooms. I've been in buildings where in a separate room someone was playing an Assassin's Creed game.
Now, I played them. I played 1, 2. I played a good amount of them, but I loved 1 and 2 because of the fact that they were pretty lore rich. I mean, they took place in a lot of basically in Italy for the most part, Greece and Italy, and
my first, like most video games, weirdly, my first impression of Assassin's Creed was Luke playing it in Mr. Brown's classroom.
Yeah, that sounds about like most of our
in our history classroom.
Yeah, our video game history dates back to actually happening in school.
Literally happening in school. Like I learned about video games.
But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping I have high hopes for Origins just because of the fact that the reason why I loved 1 and 2 was not only was it historically rich in lore, but in terms of the unique lore of this universe, because obviously it's not really a living universe in all senses of the word. I mean, Egypt is it's prime for the taking to put in additional lore. I mean, 1 and 2, they kind of forced in a lot of the relics and like the special stuff in terms of magical items, heritages, like the Seed of Eden. I forget all the different names.
So this is like the not modern day, but the current day in Assassin's Creed universe stuff you're talking about.
Well, that was the stuff that's kind of been happening, continuing. I mean, it's basically what the Assassins and the Templars have been fighting over for the dawn of time. Ultimately, it's like all these big mythical items, and I'm hoping that at least in Egypt they go back to that, because I mean, Egypt in itself is very much similar to that. So I'm hoping they go back to be more lore-like, considering probably since 3, if not. Yeah, probably since 3, none of the games have been lore-based at all or lore-rich, so I'm hoping they go back to what they originally liked. Like I said, I'm personally probably not going to play it. I only bought Black Flag on a whim on a sale, but it took us 18 minutes to hit the first pun.
Wow! And that was a good one,
I know, I try. But... And it was purely just because someone talked me into the naval combat. So I'm like, screw it, I'll try it out for the naval combat. So, and like I said, I only got it because it did something different, not because it was an Assassin's Creed game. So we'll see what's different about Origins. I'm hoping they do something different. I'm hoping they rehash it a little bit.
Black Flag is in my Steam library, and I'm reminded of it because it is alphabetically always the first game that I have. So every time I open up Steam, it's like, hey, you ready to play this? I'm like, no.
I mean, I would say, even if you don't like Assassin's Creed, do it just for, like, the pirate shanties, the graphics, and, like, just the naval combat. Because, like...
I probably bought it shortly after it came out, and it's one of those just keeps getting rolled underneath
everything. Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. But more to come on Assassin's Creed Origins. If I had to bet, we'll have a lot more coming out on it when E3 is going on, because Ubisoft is never not present.
I'm excited for the Egypt setting. So, that's about it.
Should be interesting to see. Now, The Crew 2. Now, you know a little bit more about The Crew than I do, because The Crew is the kind of MMO racing game kind of thing. Yeah. Right?
This is really interesting to me, because this is like... The Crew, you said it, it's an MMO racer, and it came out in like 2014, maybe 2013, I think it was 2014. And as with all MMOs, it's meant to be, okay, we've created our platform, and we're now going to just continually update it. I thought it came out pretty much, done, in a state of being done, and all they could update really is like, okay, we're going to add new cars or new race types or things like that. For those who don't know, it takes place across the continental U.S. And that was the selling point for me, because I like tourism games that let me kind of just explore, especially if it's a real world location. And I loved the concept of like, okay, I'm going to start in a very small recreation of northern New Hampshire, where I am, and drive to Arizona. And that it would take me like in game several hours, to do, like in real life, several hours to travel that distance. It wasn't just like, boom, now I'm here. There's this feeling of now I'm driving across, the Midwest, and oh wow, this is Iowa, huh? And it gives you a cool sense of like, you go up to Colorado, it's like, wow, the environment changes in cool and interesting ways. I almost never played it as a racing game. It was okay. It was a good racing game, but I did it as usual, as like, oh, I'm just gonna fuck off and explore. The fact that they're making The Crew 2, period, let alone so soon after The Crew 1, which is like lukewarmly received. The only thing I can think of is that it's not going to take place in the US this time, that maybe it'll either be bigger or just elsewhere. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they've released any information on it.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
But yeah, that's the only thing I can think of is that they're going to say, you know, it's like how you have Euro Truck Simulator and then you have American Truck Simulator. Euro Truck Simulator is still continuously receiving updates and new content and stuff. It's not like that was. It's actually technically the game that everyone knows is Euro Truck Simulator is Euro Truck Simulator 2, but that's for years now been the one, and now there's the American one where they're adding new states as they go. Maybe they're going to do that. I don't think there's enough people playing the crew for them to probably, like, I think that's reached the end, probably going to reach the end of its lifespan, so which is a bummer.
So what do you think in the second one they would actually have to do to actually make it a true sequel, or maybe they like rehash it?
Just like I said, it's got to take place somewhere else, I guess. I just can't see them saying, okay, we're going to remake this entire massive concept of, we're going to do the whole continental U.S., you know, again. Probably going to say they're going to do one of two things. I got to imagine is if they're sticking to their core concept, it's going to be like, here's all of Europe, or here's all of, I don't know. I don't know what else. Here's all of Australia. Because it's not like they're going to say, here's all of, it's not like they're going to say, here's all of Russia or something like that. They would stick with something that's a known environment. Or they're going to say, here's America and Europe and, you know, a Pan-Asian kind of conglomerate of China, but also Japan, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Probably going to be one of those two things.
Now, was there much customization or like different types of cars?
Yeah. I'm picky as hell, so always never as much as I would like. But there was a lot.
Yeah, that was one of the things that was stopping me from wanting to get into it, is purely just the fact that, you know, I kind of wanted the same like realistic feel that it was actually providing, but with like Underground 2 levels of like ownership.
You and I grew up in this era of these.
I loved Underground.
Yeah, Underground, Midnight Club 3 especially,
3, yeah.
just like
Most Wanted. Oh my god.
This kind of like dream of like
arcade.
Make whatever car you want.
I mean,
I'm intrigued. I want to see what they're going to do with it because I like the crew.
Yeah, I mean, you can even roll around. I mean, Gran Turismo was really hot. I mean, it kind of died off now, but I mean, its heyday was during the same time. I mean, Gran Turismo was like one of the big racing games because of the fact that it was the real one versus all the arcadey ones.
It was the sim.
Yeah, it was like you want to do a donut into a NOS boost off a highway and like grind over a cop car. Well, not in Gran Turismo.
Earlier this year.
Come on, turn more. Turn for the love of God.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the biggest, you know, time sinks of like February-ish, I was playing Dirt Showdown. I loved it. It was great. It was just this like one-off, you know, good way to kill 2 weeks of video game time. Arcadey, fun, nutty, you know, had like Gymkhana stuff. So it was, you know, stuff that's kind of, it exists in real life, but it's, you know, bending the rules. The crew sat somewhere in the middle. You know, it definitely wasn't a sim, but it wasn't like Need for Speed either. I don't know. I'm cautiously intrigued.
Oh, it'll be interesting to see.
I want to see what they do.
It. Yeah, because some of the AAA games nowadays, with especially with bigger releases or larger releases, it seems like they're having a little trouble actually. They label it a sequel, but it's not actually a sequel. Like, it's more of like a...
Right.
We took the original idea, we listened to you guys, we finally improved on it, basically. Like, we did the beta process with the full release, and now we're going to give you a new game. We'll label it 2, but realistically, it's just 1.5 or like
that's
1+.
Like, but I feel like if they did just say, okay, we're going to take the map, the USA map, which is fine. It was a fully capable, you know, explorable map. What are they going to improve? Why would they make a sequel? You know, so that's why I think it's got to take place somewhere else.
No, definitely.
Or somewhere else's, you know.
So, it'll be interesting to see. So, once again, if anything comes up during E3 or even in coming weeks, we'll let you know about it.
I guess I'm surprised that they're making a sequel.
Yeah,
it didn't do well.
I remember like being really oohed and awed over like the visuals of the game. Purely like someone would be like, "Look at the screenshot of this Camaro." Ooh, it's like, ooh, it's shiny, and look, you can see a tree in the wax of the fender, and you're like,
right, great environments, absolutely.
But at the same time, I didn't. No one I really talked to was like, "Man, you really got to play this game." It was kind of like, "Yeah, it's a game. Like it does what
it recently went free. I don't know if it still is.
It went free to play.
It went free.
I would assume it still is, but
play. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now the big one, the huge release as of this week, and then even more so as of today.
This morning, yeah.
Let me make sure I actually get that up and running. I'm putting it up on the big screen right now.
Wow. Is it up?
It's
wow.
on.
Wow.
You can't see our cams anymore because I didn't bother to set them up.
Oh, never mind. Just imagine
Far Cry 5 has been announced. It actually is set in Montana. Out of all places, Montana. So, as you can see up on the screen right now, that is the cover image that was released today. The kind of like the Last Supper looking image of Far Cry 5. They did a release trailer earlier this week, and this was the big drop today. It was the very first image from Far Cry 5.
They had a series of interesting kind of like teaser-ish trailers. The one that sold me though is that this is like classic Far Cry. It's this big open field, just this big flat open field, and practically no obstructions in sight. And you see just the tiniest figure of a guy start booking it across the field, and he's running and running and running, and then you just hear, and he goes straight down and says, "Welcome to Hope County, Montana." I was just like, I'm here for this.
Oh, and
I don't care anything. I don't need any information. I just that.
Yeah, but then did you keep watching that same video? Because at the end, when you see like you fly over the field, you see the guy go down, you keep flying, you come over the church that has a bell ringing. But did you notice how the bell is being rung? There's two guys up in the bell tower, and one of them's using the guy's skull to bong the freaking bell, just bong bong. And I'm just like, oh my god, this took a turn. That's
Far Cry.
Yeah,
that screams Far Cry.
Well, I mean, it screams more Far Cry 3 to me than Far Cry 4, just because Far Cry 3 opened up with absolutely crazy, whacked out of his mind antagonist, boss. Yeah, but he was just freaking out there. There's definitely still exciting actions, but it wasn't really. I would say someone as that crazy level. When you look at
the coolest thing that 4 did is it's a I wouldn't say it's a secret anymore, but in the very beginning of 4, it's like you said, 3, your antagonist boss is just absolutely, he's captivating. He's an absolute psychopath in the most like charismatic way. Well, not charismatic, but just like, again, compelling, captivating. Just like, I can't take my eyes off of this guy. Like, and it's a video game character. It's just, wow, sucks you right in. 4, actually, that's where I should use the word charismatic, because Pagan Min is charming. And in the very beginning, he sits you down and just, you can tell that he's a bad dude. And he says, just wait here. Just wait right here. I got to go take care of something. And of course, what are you expected to do but get up? And that's where the game kind of kicks off. You escape from this place and the whole game opens up at that point. However, if you listen to him and you just sit there for 10 minutes, I love this. He comes back and he's like, like wiping blood off his hands. Like, okay, all right. Anyway, you were here for something. And he takes you to the ending cutscene. It's just like, and he tells you the truths that you discover over the course of the game. There's some stuff involving your parentage. And he's just like, all right, cool. Have a nice day. And the end credits roll. It's just like,
But for Far Cry,
the only winning move is not to play.
The Far Cry 5, Hope County, Montana. It looks like, I don't know. I'm not even really sure where to begin with this, because the image seems like it's going to be more religious kind of mob mentality than anything
Yeah.
else. I mean, the opening credit or the opening image has, obviously this kind of Last Supper looking image.
Right on the nose, like, yeah,
I mean,
not even
literally
subtle.
right on the nose. And I'm assuming it's using the. I'm assuming the main figureheads and the main characters in the game. There's also a guy at the very bottom of the table with Sinner card in his back. So,
which is similar to the front of Far Cry 4. The cover of that has Pagan, the antagonist, sitting, and he's got his head on a guy who's got a like primed grenade in his hand.
That's right,
something like that.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see where they go with this. I mean, outside of that, I mean, Montana. When I first heard about this, I'm like, really, Montana? That's the state you're going with? But after seeing the concept of what's on their title image, it kind of makes sense because realistically, unfortunately, America's really good for this kind of setting.
I saw a tweet earlier today that was like 2013. Hey, we got an idea for a new Far Cry. Far right extremists in America. That'd be wild, huh? 2014. Okay, we're working on it. 2015. 2016. Oh shit, wait, hopefully this will all blow over. 2017. Fuck it, ship it.
Literally, I mean, it's what it is because that's exactly what it looks like. It just
was not expecting the world to take this direction.
But yeah, I mean, it kind of seems like this is where this game is going with, and I actually saw on Twitter some very intriguing concepts or ideas for the actual antagonist for this, both what you've pitched and also someone you chimed in with.
I have a highly optimistic, wild theory.
Yeah, and one of those theories both being, one is that A, maybe the main character is going to be female, and B, maybe the main character will be a minority. That both, like, to me personally, I'm like, wow, if they actually did that, that'd be a huge decision. I mean, but also...
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, for me, I actually think that it'd be a super daring choice for either of those characters. I mean, it'd be, especially with the path you can go down with this, I mean, it could hit really close to home really easy for a lot of people.
I think that they're overdue for it. You know, Far Cry has constantly been under fire for having handsome white dude, that's, caps with a trademark after it, as protagonists since forever. And they kind of tried to fix that with 4, as it took place in Nepal, and they had a local boy coming home kind of thing, but it was still, a rugged white guy, white skinned guy. Why I don't think it would be a minority, specifically the one that I saw is that it'd be an African American. Why I don't think it would be that is because it's taking place in Montana. If it was taking place in because Far Cry, they're not subtle. They are not. They've never been subtle.
Yeah.
And if they were gonna do the, African American guy taking down white far right extremists, they'd probably do it in Alabama, Virginia, South Carolina, something like that. It's possible, but Montana isn't quite the setting for that, and it would be a real stretch on their part that I don't think they would do. You know what I mean? I think that that's a little bit too far for them. If they were going to do that, look at Mafia 3. They did Louisiana. They had a black protagonist doing that kind of fighting racism in the 60s storyline. My super out there theory, which I'm clinging on to, we're going to get more information on Friday, but until then, I'm clinging on to the hope that it's a woman. And that would be incredibly, terrifying. Imagine it. Okay, you got your Montana religious cult. Yeah. Everyone drinks the Kool-Aid kind of cult. Young girl, raised in the cult. Who knows what kind of unspeakable horrors? They'll probably mishandle it, but she has an upbringing of unspeakable horrors and has come back to enact her revenge, or has broken out, in the opening cutscene, breaks free of it and sees the light, sees something like that, and systematically takes down this cult. How fucking awesome would that be? I get goosebumps thinking about it.
Well, here's an intriguing thing that I was just going through my mind right now. So, dating back from Far Cry 3, Far Cry 4, one of the main pieces of those games is actually, the area at which your character exists is at war. There's 2 feuding parties. You take down outposts and all this other stuff.
Because it's a good gameplay.
Well,
premise,
yeah, but also they're in war-torn countries.
Yep. Far Cry 2
really,
as well. Yeah.
Montana isn't exactly war-torn. So are we going to have outposts? Are we going to have, what's the setting going to be? Are you going to have allies? Are you going to have a separate faction fighting against the power?
Right. Is it going to be like local police force versus?
But frankly, to me, I think
the local police force would be the enemy.
I was going to say you beat me to it because I feel like they would be with the people at the table with the sinner and all that other. So I don't know. Are you on? That's a really good point. Do you have safe houses? What I can is it going to be more survival?
Right.
I don't know.
Far Cry, at least since 2 and especially 3, has been a game of attrition. You're taking back regions for a force. So even Blood Dragon was, you were taking regions. So that's a really good point. How are they going to spin that?
How's that going to change the gameplay? Really, I don't know what's going to be because, one of the things I loved and also hated, and more hated than not, for Far Cry was the fact that, all the outposts, yes, they were one of the major flavors of the game. They all were different. They had different ways of happening to them, but after a while, they got repetitive. Maybe if this game doesn't have outposts, that to me would be enough of a change from Ubisoft's standpoint to be like, whoa, they're doing something here.
That's sort of become the Far Cry thing, and even a Ubisoft thing.
But I don't know. I'm really hoping, now that I'm thinking about this, I really hope that they go to a different path because I just don't know how else you would do it. Would it be one random shack and another random shack and another random shack, or is it just going to be maybe there won't be outposts? Maybe it's just going to be, maybe it's going to be more like Badlands where everything is just constantly on the other side. Wildlands, damn it. It's been so long.
That's okay.
But
that's okay.
Like Wildlands. Maybe it's gonna be, you know what I mean? We're just you
that's
can't
what
take
I'm
anything
thinking
back.
of.
You're just constantly at war. Maybe that's the way it's gonna be.
Which I like about Wildlands, Ghost Recon Wildlands, for those who might not know what we're talking about here. That is a game where you're a force that is just you guys. It's you and your team. So you're not taking back areas. You're just you'll clear out an outpost to achieve an objective, but when you come back it's repopulated because there's a constant. You said it when we were originally talking about it a few months ago. It wouldn't just be oh well, we've lost that gas station. No, these guys own this area. They send more people back in, and also for gameplay purposes it keeps it fun. I like the premise. I like the Americana. BioShock Infinite kind of touched on it, but it went in a way more fantastical direction. But I like rural America as a backdrop by default. Throw in creepy death cult stuff. Cool. All right, I'm here for the directions they could go with it. I feel like I don't have any reason to believe otherwise. I feel like I know every single thing that this game's going to do already, just because of playing, most previous Far Cry games. I feel like I know what the characters are going to be like. I know they're going to try and create a charmingly, affably evil villain. I don't see why they would change it up. It's a good formula, but I can see user fatigue setting in and people just being like, oh, another one. Okay. I didn't play Primal for that reason.
Yeah,
I haven't played Far Cry Primal.
I didn't even touch it.
Because of that fatigue. Because of I'm looking at it and just being like,
it looks like a reskin. It looks like Far Cry.
It literally was. It was the same map as 4.
It looks like
it was a complete reskin of 4.
It's it's exactly the same thing, but just with less advanced weapons.
All this being said, 3 and 4, which I really lump into the same game. They're two halves of one coin. They're incredibly similar games. Those are some of my favorite video games. I love Far Cry 3 and 4. I love playing those games. I've gone back to 3 many times. And I don't usually go back to games. I'll milk them for all they're worth and maybe revisit them 2 or 3 years down the line. But Far Cry 3 is something like Sleeping Dogs, where I just keep it installed and I'll say, I want a little bit of that. I want a little fix of that. So,
yeah, well,
we'll find out more Friday.
Yeah, we'll find out more Friday. We'll post a few. We'll post the trailer as well as the cover image in our show notes as that you can capture or that you can look at on Friday. For all those that aren't joining us live here at Twitch, which is at addictedtoloot.com twitch.tv/addicted.
I twitched it to loot /addicted.
But for all those listening in the future, so moving on, a few just quick news announcements, kind of changing speeds here. Red Dead Redemption 2, which actually is a thing. I mean, we talked about Red Dead Redemption last week with Wild West Online. Well, Red Dead Redemption 2 is actually being delayed to 2018. It's still happening. Studio definitely confirms it's still happening. It's just it's being pushed back a little ways. Which,
I am always in favor of delays.
I mean, there's a final. I think there is a limit
to a point.
To a point, yeah. But I much prefer someone going, you know what? We need more time. We're still hashing out a few things.
Absolutely.
Hey, just thanks for telling me. Take your time, as opposed to like some companies that will be like, you know, we really need your early access money so that we can really polish out. Didn't you say the game was finished? Yeah, no, but we really need more money.
Yeah.
It's like,
what do you have? God. Concept art?
Yeah. So, I mean. I don't know. I mean, I liked Red Dead Redemption. I didn't love it. I mean, I played enough of it. I got my share with it. It kind of scratched the itch. I'm like, oh, it's GTA in the Wild West. After a couple hours, I'm like, yep, literally, that's all it is. Okay, bye.
So
I mean, it didn't really like do much for me in terms of like really revamping the genre or anything else. Yes, it was cool with the skin, but it was like, eh.
I'm bummed that I missed out on Red Dead because I like cowboy stuff. I like cowboy games. Not hugely, but enough.
Can't you play it on the PS?
I only played Gun.
No, but the
no, on PlayStation Now. I never got to. It came out after my trial period, and I never reactivated the trial. But it is on the original one's on PlayStation Now, which is PlayStation's streaming service that lets you play PS3 era games on PC.
Yeah, but I mean, I like I said, I started playing it. I love the environment. I love some of the mechanics. I love the look of the game and the feel of the game. Mm-hmm. But after a while, you know, because at least in GTA, you can have a lot of variety of missions, or you can have a great variety within the missions because of technology, multiple applications. Drugs, money, gambling, what have you.
What else?
Racing. I mean, this one. I mean, there's stagecoach racing, but ultimately it was like he took my claim or he hurt my paw, and it's just go and go and go. I mean, there wasn't.
Sure.
It all kind of had the same Wild West flavor of this was an old Wild West movie at one time. Wash, rinse, repeat. I still love I love like the old revolvers. I love the old rifles. I love the fact that you could do it while riding a horse. I love the horse animations and like, you know, riding a horse back and forth if you really wanted to do it.
I think this is pure speculation, but it's a game that falls short if the fantasy isn't there. If you lose the, wow, I'm in a Wild West film or experience, once that's not there, it's like, it's a game.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, that's really kind of broke it. So, I mean, I have maybe more hopes for Red Dead Redemption 2. I mean, but here's the thing. That's something that you pointed out. PC is technically not confirmed for the second one. I was always operating that it was. So, I mean, we'll still keep on reporting on it. But yeah, it's not actually confirmed for PC. So we'll keep you abreast of that one.
What is confirmed for PC is Wild West Online.
Yes, which is...
and you can sign up for the alpha of that.
You can catch that in our last podcast, or our last episode of the podcast. We talked about it at length. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. You can sign up on the email list now so you can get considerations into the alpha. So, hey, go check that out, Wild West Online.
I'm stoked.
One thing that is confirmed, but we can only say so much about it, is... Alexis Kennedy, who was one of the primary writers, right?
He was a founder or co-founder of Fail Better.
That's what it was.
Fail Better Games.
But he actually did. He did originally work on some of the Dragon Age games, right? Like where he was.
So the news item is that he's working on a Dragon Age something, and we'll get back to that. Or I guess this is it. This is us talking about it.
We'll get back to it. This literally
right
is
now. Thank you for coming back. So he was with Failbetter, and Failbetter did this great thing that came out just before Inquisition called The Last Court. Failbetter did Sunless Seas, is doing Sunless Skies,
Yep.
And also did Fallen London. Fallen London is like this browser-based, absolutely fascinating. I love Fallen London. It's so cool. And I have it, but I haven't played Sunless Seas yet, and it's in the same universe. Fallen London is like this, I don't know how to describe it. It's sort of a text-based, choose your own adventure based, card-based kind of alternate life simulator. Like it's hard to describe. It's a game where you're gaming systems, but the whole thing that it's doing is it's very steampunk Victorian London kind of stuff. Great sense of humor, like very dark, wry sense of humor through the whole thing. But you're pretty much embodying a character in this universe, and you're being who you want to be, and you're following different paths as such. It's a choose your own adventure in the truest sense. And the Last Court, which was done by Failbetter, is basically that in the Dragon Age universe. There's a specific scenario I can't remember off the top of my head. I think you're about to entertain the divine or someone of within the chantry. Anyway, Dragon Age doors. We're gonna close that. We're not gonna open that door right now. It was really fun. It was really great, and I believe he was part of Failbetter when they worked on that. Very recently, there's an interview with Eurogamer that they talked to him, and he is working on a hefty bit of lore for something involved with an upcoming Dragon Age project.
That's it. That's all we have.
Well, what happened was it kind of exploded online with people saying, next Dragon Age confirmed. I mean, and it ended up ultimately in a I can neither confirm nor deny situation. There's no reason to believe they're not creating the next Dragon Age. Inquisition sets it up.
But there's no reason to believe that they are. It's, you know what I mean?
Technically, but they'd leave a crazy plot thread like dangling, or some cool premise that they've laid forward at the very end of Inquisition. Literally, like after the Marvel movie plays, like that one little cutscene, that one little scene that plays after the credits that makes you go, oh, that's how Inquisition ended. And if you play the Trespasser DLC, anyway. There's no reason to believe they're not making it a follow-up. However, whether he's involved in that or not, or to what capacity, when I first read the article, I was under the impression that he was just creating a character or a bomb-ass side quest or something, like just, let's pull out someone who's a really well-known surrealistic writer, and maybe he's going to do this whole bit on the Fade or something like that. I don't know. I'm glad that he's involved with the Dragon Age thing.
Hooray. Yeah, I mean, it should be interesting to see.
Incredibly vague good news.
It'd be interesting to see how this progresses, or see how close it is actually coming out with more information. Because this could even be purely the fact that they're just now starting to storyboard it or something. So I mean, it could be a ways away. All we know is that it's out there. So if you are
overdue for some kind of information on it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Dragon Age fan, this is great news. For the people that had their hearts broken along the way, it's kind of like a faint glimmer of hope. It's
a light in the darkness. No, I don't know how much of Failbetter's claims to fame are his result, the result of his work directly. Obviously. But they have a certain flavor that I really like. I love Fallen London's quirkiness,
and I know a lot of people that love Sunless like Seas. Submariner and Sunless Seas, and and then Sunless Skies that will be coming out. That you can just FYI, saw it today. You can sign up for the beta. Yes. If you want to go to their website, you can sign up for this.
Bet your biscuits, I did.
Sunless Skies beta, which is funny because they have these. Okay, real quick side tangent. They had
Sunless Skies is the sci-fi version of Sunless Seas.
Correct. Yes. It's just funny. They had these 4 requirements. That's Please sign up for the beta if you have one of these requirements. A, you've played our games before. B, you've never played our games before. I'm like,
Yeah.
so why do you even have these
By default, literally
everybody on the planet. It's just like
throughout all of history.
Like, how do you? I don't understand how you can not be one of those two things.
Right. It's like, okay, Jenkins, let's categorize people. Who here has played them? Okay, we've got about 500 some odd signups that are okay, good. Who here has? Oh shit.
Okay, well, let's leave it at that. Like, okay, whatever. But it's just like the other two didn't even make
sense. Are you currently
like,
breathing air? Have you ever breathed air?
And it's like, and do you play on Mac? Like, that was like the last one. Like, that was like the other. I was like, really? Okay. But anyway, yeah, you can go sign up for that right now. It's actually live. So, more to come on that. Hopefully, more positive things to come on that. Now, can you believe Overwatch is a year old?
No, I cannot.
It actually is.
I've been thinking about that. I cannot believe it.
But I'm just going to let this scroll for anyone that's watching us on Twitch and or anyone that actually wants to go on and watch the video after the fact. So, I'm just going to have this scroll by. But yeah, Overwatch is officially a year old.
Incredible. Yeah, it was the big release of May last year. And
exactly. And I mean, it has aged extremely well. I mean,
I think it... Overwatch is funny.
I know, right? It feels just like only yesterday. Zombie-o-betric... What? How do you even say that?
Zombie Robo T-Rex! Hi! I love you! Yes.
I wonder who knows you. But anyway, yeah. But yeah, it's aged surprisingly well. I mean, even after a year, it's doing extremely well. And they're taking really good care of it. They're doing really good things with it.
Overwatch has simultaneously done better than I expected and just as well as I expected.
At the same time.
It's like when they were talking about it, and it was like, oh, that looks cool. That'll probably do well. It's Blizzard. It'll probably do really well. I think this will do well. And then it came out, I was like, this is really great.
Yeah, I actually got it
because
of
This is more than the merits of being a Blizzard game. This is a great, everything.
Yeah, it's just great. Yeah, I mean, everything about it. I mean, it's just extremely well polished. I mean, every iteration they've added to it has only made it grown better. I mean,
I love it.
The different game modes, the arcade style now, all the different little events, new maps, new heroes. I mean, the skins have replaced TF2 hats. I mean, it's kind of like, it's just, I don't know. It's done really well. I'm curious to see. I want to see how long the Overwatch train will last ultimately. But
yeah, it's interesting. I think I don't see them doing an Overwatch 2. Maybe they will. Maybe they will. I'll take that back.
I don't know.
I take that back. They could do an Overwatch 2, but
maybe, I guess.
I don't know.
You'd have to I feel like you have to completely the only way you could really do it would be to completely erase the board with heroes and start over.
Right. Here's the difference between this and the Crew that we were talking about earlier, where the Crew is like, I think the dream probably with the Crew, unfortunately, was, okay, we're going to release it and just keep iterating on it. Actually, okay, 3 games. You have the Crew. We're going to release it and keep iterating on it. Doesn't take off at launch, continues to not take off. Eventually, they hit a point where they say, screw it, we're just going to make a sequel. Maybe they're viewing that as a fresh start. On the other side, far other side, you have Overwatch, which is, we're going to create a game and iterate on it over time. And they have just been there. They have reacted to the fan art. They have constantly created stuff around the game. They are listening. They are buffing and debuffing, nerfing all the time. They are, Jeff Kaplan is a great presence. He's kind of their PR guy. They are doing so much all the time. There is just an incredibly dedicated team behind Overwatch, tweaking and perfecting it. In the middle, you have the Division, which is a little bit of both. It's like the Division came out and they said, we're going to create the Division and we're just going to iterate on it. Okay. It's there.
It's still there.
It's got its fan base. They are continuing to create stuff and tweak stuff, but it's like it's somewhere in the middle.
Nothing sticks to the wall.
Yeah. The Crew, which I really enjoy the Crew, but I'd say through their concept did not work.
Yeah.
And Overwatch, taking the same concept, has worked astoundingly well. I think Overwatch does so much right. Where like as not just as a game.
It's a shame. Poor Division. RIP Division.
Yeah, I like the Division too.
I
Three of these games I like.
Yeah, I mean, I did really like the Division. I wish it would have done a little bit differently, but maybe they will. Who knows? There's still time.
Yeah, there's still time. I think Overwatch has a great flavor to it that it's like, it's like a good candy. Like you're just like, I want to I look at the colors, look at these characters, look at these character designs. They are incredibly liberal. They're incredibly socially liberal. The whole thing of Tracer is canon gay and stuff like that, and they don't bat an eye. It's great. You've got these characters like Zarya, this big buff woman that could break your neck. Yeah, it's awesome. You have all these people of color. It's great.
Yeah, it's a very warm, welcoming game. Like it seems like even if you're not a gamer, it just seems like a game when you look at it. It just seems really approachable. Like
if I wasn't a gamer, I would be soaking up just the fan art. I do anyway, but like I would if I wasn't actually into the game itself, which I am. I enjoy playing Overwatch. That's the added benefit of it's like, there are games where it's like I don't like playing this game, but goddamn, do I love the artwork around it? It's like Blade Runner as a movie. I don't really like it as a movie, but wow, do I love everything about it. I love the music. I love the way it looks, but I really don't care about it as a movie.
But so Overwatch, the anniversary event, the 1-year event, they're just releasing a crap ton of items.
Mostly stickers, as usual. But
Zombie says, and the art book and the anthology and coloring book are coming out in a few months. So
wait, coloring book? Are you serious?
Apparently.
I would love an Overwatch coloring book. Oh my god. My mom has the greatest collection of colored pencils like you wouldn't believe. She does like the adult coloring books, and I would kill for an Overwatch coloring book. Oh my god. Not even joking.
Apparently is confirmed via Zombie. So, hey, it is happening. But the anniversary event is mainly composed of stickers, voice lines, emotes, stuff like that. But there also is 11 new skins, which we had going up right now.
The Tracer one. Oh, Graffiti Tracer. Oh
my god. I completely blanking on all of the
Tracer. Most everyone has a legendary.
Hanzo, Soldier, Zarya, Symmetra,
Genji, his Power Ranger one.
Lucio.
Yep.
Bastion. The Bastion one looks like every other Bastion one. Like I don't understand. Like it doesn't look different.
That's the one they got this kind of like clean sci-fi thing that's going on.
Bastion, Soldier. Yeah. So.
I like the Soldier one.
The Soldier one is really cool. I do like the Soldier one a lot. So on top of the 11 other skins, there are 3 new maps as well. So and Pharah. Pharah is on there too. But yeah, I like the Tracer one, and probably is one of my favorite ones of the lot.
Yeah, for absolutely. It's like Graffiti Tracer.
Oh, and May. Yeah, that's the other one.
It was May. So funny. Yeah, someone, I can't remember if this was on Twitter or Tumblr. I gotta remember who to credit these to, honestly. But there was... It was like new skins, and it's like, Genji, I must save humanity. Hanzo, I must get my revenge for my family. May, I like bees.
Well, the Lucio one is kind of interesting because I'm not really sure what it's like. Lucio one's supposed to be like businessman. Like I don't understand.
I was reading an article on Kotaku that was like, oh, this is a bad ripoff of Bruno Mars. I don't know.
What was on both, Zombie? She put it was on both, and I don't know what she meant. Oh, whatever the 2 software she said.
I have very bad short-term memory.
Twitter and Tumblr?
Oh, it was on both. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So apparently Lucio is Blues Night. Yeah, Tumblr and Twitter. Aha. So thank you, Zombie, for keeping us straight. But yeah, apparently Lucio's getting ready for Blues Night. Interesting. Very, very interesting.
He's a musician. What are you going to
do?
What are you gonna do?
So Overwatch Anniversary, it's live now.
Oh, everyone got dances, too.
Yeah, that's right. Everyone got new dances.
I love Sombra's dance. It's great.
So it is live now. If you have Overwatch and you're not already playing it, well... I'm surprised it's taken you this long to realize it. So hey,
Yeah.
but
yeah,
hey, go
absolutely.
on, log on, and hey, let us know what you think of all the new dances and skins. Do you have a favorite one? Do you have a favorite character? Let us know.
Zombie,
We have
in
it
chat,
extremely-
what do you think about all of this stuff? What do you think about the direction that Overwatch is, or what directions they could take in the coming year?
We have a really great track record for filling in exactly what our viewers say into the show. So hey, please let us hear your thoughts.
Not much competition.
Hey, they don't need to know that, Tom. We have a very, very,
We're just incredibly
very
dedicated.
fan base of the fans we have. Zombie says, I like the direction and I think they should keep doing updates. Yep, couldn't say it better ourselves.
Yeah,
But-
I think the only real comparison point is Team Fortress and Team Fortress 2 specifically. I think where TF2 not fell apart, but it self-parodied. What?
She said, I don't think I want an Overwatch 2, but I'm open to it and would buy it because I'm a sucker.
Yeah, I would buy it too. I don't even know what they would do. They would probably do like Omnic Crisis and go back in time and have or Future probably.
How would they get even more futuristic?
Overwatch and 0G. But the thing with TF2 is, it hit the point of self-parody, and then it went beyond that. Like, it jumped its own shark, and
One of my favorite expressions.
it just escalated to, the hat that's like a stack of 20 hats.
Yep.
That's TF2.
Exactly.
And it's like, okay, the fact that that's not even like funny at this point, like there's a point where it's like TF2 with hats, haha, TF2 is all hats, let's add a hat that's all hats. Okay, they've got that hat, it just
Definitely
lived its life.
it is exactly 1 year old.
And someone's probably going to shoot me for saying that. I apologize. TF2 is a great game too. I love TF2. However,
let the hate mail roll through you. It's okay.
Yeah, I can already see. You can see the regret washing over my face from saying that. It's not that it lived its life. It has a very, very, very nice suite in a nursing home right now.
Hey, it's still one of the top played
TF2
games
is still
on
the
Steam
shuffleboard champ at the nursing home.
of the FPS nursing home.
And Overwatch is just like skateboarding down the street with like tattoos. It's like flipping everyone off, like, yeah, bitch.
Zombie says it
Who's
builds
this
character
watching?
and he hates it. Gasp.
Wait, what was that?
Zombie says it builds character, and then next line, he hates it.
Not hate. Respect.
It's-
Nothing but respect. Reverence.
It's the it's the punky elderly person at the old
You should
folks
have
home.
nothing but respect
winning
for
at
your elders.
winning at social board. But okay, so moving on to, for me personally, probably the biggest news that's happened over the past week for us, or for gaming, for anything really. The Destiny 2 gameplay trailer finally released. Soldier 76 shuffleboard. But anyway, Destiny 2.
We're all soldiers
the
now.
actual gameplay reveal occurred. It happened last week on the 18th, live on live on Twitch. I didn't actually catch the live one, but I quickly saw the replay of it shortly after.
I just imagine Soldier 76 playing shuffleboard.
We all are soldiers now.
Chucks down like one of the pigs. Everyone heal up.
So, Destiny 2. It's now officially a thing. It has gameplay. We actually see what it's all about. So let's just see. I have a big running list of this. They actually condensed the 2 or 3, 4 hour plus Twitch stream into just what the actual reveal was. So that will be in the show notes if you actually want to log on and watch it.
I was like, I cannot watch all of this.
But so we'll just summarize what Destiny 2 is. So Destiny 2, we know about. It is a game built on loss, recovery, and rebirth. That's basically the premise of Destiny 2. Based on the fact that, the original Enclave, the original sanctuary of human society was standing left with the Traveler coming in. Basically, it gets taken over, it gets destroyed by the Red Legion. And the hope, this is an interesting premise. They went over this on the actual release. From the lore standpoint, from the story standpoint, the rising action here is the Red Legion, led by Gull, sometimes known as Gary. Really, they actually think the whole point of why all this happened was he was raised to believe that basically the humans are not the right people to accept the traveler's gifts, that the Gull are, that he is, that they are not worthy. It's not that he's angry at them, that he wants to make war. It's just that the traveler was wrong to pick them. He's righting the wrong. He's taking it back.
I appreciate what you're doing here. However,
yeah, I mean, it's basically just that's what he is. He says that the humans aren't worthy of the traveler. So that's exactly what happens with the big assault and the destruction of Sanctuary. I mean, you lose Sanctuary, they basically, everyone in Sanctuary lost everything. They lost their home, they lost their powers, they lost their weapons, they lost everything. And the whole premise of this game is you're fighting from behind. You need to, basically right the wrong and get back to being normal again, or being a hero again. That's what the whole genre is. They said, in the very first game, one of the worst things about it, or I guess one of the aspects of it, was that no matter what the DLC was, you always beat the big baddie. Everyone you face, you put a bullet in their head. In this one, you start out with a loss, and they said it's something that you haven't had yet in the Destiny universe, and that's what the exciting action is, of actually playing the entire game from behind, because everyone wants to play the underdog. So it's the whole point of regaining your powers.
It's kind of what XCOM 2 did versus Enemy Unknown.
Exactly.
XCOM 2 is literally rising from the ashes of defeat for the whole game.
Basically, yeah, and that's exactly what Destiny 2 is specifically about. So they are promising a more cinematic game with far more story missions, which is amazing because it's really what a lot of the first game was lacking. A lot of the first game was really you really only got the story if you chose to get it, because it had these basically glimmer cards that you would flip over and read the lore as you unlock them. They actually completely got rid of that system, and now everything about the lore and everything about the game, what's going on, the universe, everything is purely going to be happening in-game. Through cinematics, through story missions. They completely revamped the whole thing. For me, personally, this is extremely exciting because the story missions are by far the best part of the first game, by like a huge margin. So the fact that they're making this a far greater point of interest and a greater facet of the game is huge for me. Absolutely huge. So I'm very, very interested in that. I don't actually have this on my list, but just to start out with, the mission that they show, which is like kind of a teaser mission, it's like the very first mission. It's a section of the very first mission you're going to play when you start up the game. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, wet your pants as it looks so fucking good. I mean, nice. It's just like, you just want to like drool over this game. Even Destiny 1, even though it came out a couple years ago, it's exactly the same way. It just is always, jaw-droppingly beautiful. And they cranked it to 11 on this one. I mean, it's even more, it's like even more well done, cleaner, more polished and everything else. So, moving on to my short list. So, with that, going back to the main game, so there's, we have 3 new starting planets, specifically 3 new zones. The European Den Zone, which basically is the new lobby, if you will, the new home of everyone.
Oh, like the hub?
Basically, yeah. So it's even far bigger than Sanctuary, so that's the thing. I think it's going to be even a bigger hub for everyone. Io, which is another moon. Nexus isn't. I think all these are basically like different planets and asteroids, or moons and asteroids. Io, Nexus, and Titan. All of them have kind of their own little visual environment and stuff like that. Like, one of them is purely an ocean planet. Like, the entire thing is nothing but methane ocean. So it's just like, in that like one map, it's just, there used to be a utopia there at the heart, at the pinnacle of human existence. Obviously, it's not there anymore, and it's just slowly falling apart. So you're going through
global warming
on the asteroid on the other side of the universe. Universal warming.
This is why we recycle. We're fucking up moons in different parts of our galaxy.
But they cover them in pretty good detail. I'd invite you to go on, because some of the teasers they show for all of it is, oh my god, they just look so freaking gorgeous. And I think the real reason why there's 3 planets specifically is because initially there's 3, the 3 class leaders who are ultimately like the 3 leaders of the human species, basically. hunter leader, warlock leader,
which really conveniently happened to be a warrior, mage, and rogue.
literally. So like the warlock leader, hunter leader, and titan
How'd that
leader,
work out?
they basically all have the loss of the traveler affects all of them in different ways. And each one of these 3 planets are tied to each one of those 3 characters as you are like helping them to become back to what they originally were. So it's extremely convenient that there's 3 on 3 for all this. But one of the things that's really cool that I like is that they are actually opening up the weapon slots so that there's far more customization in your weapon loadout. It used to be before that you had 2 primaries and a heavy, and only certain weapons could actually fit into those certain slots. This one, you have types of weapons. So you have like a beam weapon, a particle weapon. No, it's like solid projectile, beam, and like something else, like plasma or whatever else. And you can put in any type of weapon that matches that. So you could have 3 rocket launchers, all of different types of projectiles, or a submachine gun, a pistol, and a rocket launcher. But maybe you can have like a particle rocket launcher versus a beam rocket launcher. So it's like,
that's interesting.
They said this new weapon loadout actually allows you to have far more pliability in your weapon loadout, as well as it allows people to have much more of an ownership of what they're actually using at any given time in terms of their strategy.
See, I love what Mass Effect does with its weight system, where you can have fucking all the weapons if you want, but you're going to, run out of stamina faster, you're going to run slower, et cetera, et cetera. So it encourages you, especially what Andromeda does, particularly if you're playing like a biotic character or something with cooldowns, you want less weapons because your cooldown time is going to increase as a result. I always thought that was a really cool kind of balance. Like, okay, I could have a shotgun, a pistol, and a melee weapon, but I'm now 150% over encumbered. My cooldowns are longer. Tell you what, I'll just use the sword and go crazy with biotics, like on 0% cooldown, etc.
So I mean, I don't know. The 3 weapon loadout in Destiny, I always thought it made sense to me. I liked it. Basically you had 3 slots. Everyone had 3 slots. You could fill them up. They actually had visual appearances on your being and anything else. Just give me 1 second. But like I said, I actually like them, but I do like the fact that this actually does allow us to have better ownership, better feels, and everything else. I like it a lot more. That's taking care of something. Oh, already left. Never mind. And something going on in chat. But,
okay. I'm like, and suddenly fascinated in the right side of his room.
There we go. And we're done. So, luckily that was easy. But anyway, some weird dude in chat.
That was easy.
But anyway, getting back to it. So, weapon slots, more customization. Best thing about this, probably the most exciting thing for me, is that there's new classes, or I'd say same classes, new class subtypes, because ultimately in the original Destiny, you started out with, like, I'll just use Titan just because that's the one I actually knew. You had like an offensive and a defensive Titan. You had like Striker and Defender. Each one of their own like types of grenades, abilities, projectiles, ultimate abilities. One for me had like an AoE ground smash, like shockwave kind of thing. The other one had a defensive bubble that you could use. With the Taken King, they gave out another subclass. For me, it was like the Sun Striker or something like that. I'm just making sure. Yeah, Sun Striker. That was basically, I had like a fire golden hammer thing that I could then use to swing around. So they keep on adding on to these different subclasses, and obviously for Destiny 2, they're going to add on new ones. I don't know if they're going to have the original ones as well. That hasn't been actually released, but all we know is that they're going to have at least these 3. So going down, so for the Warlock, the subclass that they released for the Warlock is called the Dawn Blade. It basically is, I don't know, it's like the ultimate glass cannon weapon. It's the ultimate caster weapon. It's like you go up into the air, you pull out, like, you summon this energy sword, and you just throw down explosive beams out of the sword. Like as you swing it, it shoots down a giant projectile that does this massive damage. Basically, it's justice from above. But yeah, you pull out this, or this sword appears, you send down. It's just a lot of destruction, which is what the Warlock is. Glass cannon. That's always been the Warlock, which, mage. The Sentinel for the Titan is interesting because it's Captain America. Literally is Captain America. You summon a shield that you can then use to... I misheard that as projectile beans. Well, that'd be a little less...
Projectile beans!
That would be a little...
Sensu beans!
It'd be a little less effective, but... Oh no, not the protein!
Oh, this is really irritating!
But yeah, so the Sentinel is basically Captain America in Destiny. You have a shield...
You'd make a great chili out of this if you weren't salting me. Use your powers for good. Sorry, go ahead.
If you weren't salting me, whatever. But so you can use the shield. You can bash people with it. You can actually throw the shield, and it bounces off of people, and it comes back to you. It literally is 1,000% Captain America's shield.
Oh my god!
But it still looks awesome. I am so excited to actually play it. The last one for the hunter is called the Arc Strider. I'm trying to think out of a cool person to compare this to, but it's basically like a double, like a lightsaber staff. Like it's a energy staff that you dual wield, that you just basically like weave in and out of people, just striking the hell out of them. It's just like the ultimate
Darth Maul.
Basically, it's like the ultimate like two-handed staff melee combatant. It's just you basically.
And this is the like roguish,
yes,
gunslingerish class. Oh.
Mm-hmm. You should check it out. It'd be very much.
Ooh, both of those are up my alley.
It's really, really cool. I mean, I like all the new subclasses. Very fun thing. We know there's going to be a new raid. Don't know what it is. There's only going to be a new one. A lot of people were disappointed there's only one, but at least it's going to happen. These are probably the biggest things that actually, I think, give the game a little bit more, longevity, but also a little bit more welcome to players, especially new players. They're actually bringing in guilds, so guilds are a thing now. So you actually can have, like, World of Warcraft guild, but in Destiny 2, which is a huge thing, because now you can, instead of, trying to go online, finding someone, adding them to
I'm surprised there weren't.
Yeah, there wasn't. They had unofficial guilds that you do, like, offline. But yeah, like, instead of, like, going online, finding someone, adding them to your friends list, and then playing with them, now you actually can be like, oh, hey, we're the Justice Awesome people. You should join us. Yeah. And they go, sure, I'll join you, and you literally, bonk, now you're in a guild.
And then chat, like, every 10 minutes, someone is like, join.
Yeah,
Justice
exactly.
Awesome nuts.
But the funny part is,
join,
for this one, they actually...
now recruiting.
They actually have, like cover pages now. Like, they say, like, who the guild is, what they are, what they do. People can, like, make, like, a little, like, formal, like, welcoming thing. They have banners and all that other stuff. So it's pretty cool. I mean, it's a neat feature. It's something that, from a social standpoint, for Destiny 1, people have been wanting. So it's huge. I think it's a huge step in the right direction.
Yeah, I did not know that wasn't in the original Destiny, and I actually marked that as, like, notably missing. Especially for a game that encourages you to team up with people.
I've never actually participated in a raid in Destiny 1 because I just could not find people to do it with.
Sure.
Fun fact. I love Destiny 1, but
I'm not really a guild joiner or a raider, but I feel like they're a staple of
the raids were amazing. Games. I know that much. Like, I remember watching videos. I mean, the raids were amazing in Destiny 1. I mean, they should be equally amazing in Destiny 2. But yeah, the fact that there's guild now, so that's a great. And also another thing is there's another thing called guided. I think they're called either guided raids or like guided missions. I forget which exactly the right verbiage is. But what this means is, as a solo player, you can queue up for a raid, and you'll be placed with like a guild that's like, oh, we need a fifth. We can't find a fifth.
So looking for group feature.
You get. Basically, but you get paired up with a full guild party, basically, and it's kind of like hey, as a guild, we'll walk the solo person through the raid with us, and it's basically like you can like almost dry run a guild. Maybe you like those 5 people enough to join. Maybe you don't. Maybe you just do that one raid with them and call it a day. But it's basically a looking for group feature with the point of also trying to have you find a guild.
Looking for group plus pickup game plus potential guild
Exactly.
shopping.
It's kind of like a dry run for guild recruitment, basically.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's kind of a cool thing.
I like that, yeah.
PvP is permanently shifted to 4v4 100% of the time. So all PvP in Destiny 2 is going to be 4v4, which I wasn't huge into the Crucible, the PvP aspect, so I can't really comment on it.
Mm.
Maybe that's good, maybe it's not. It's more squad-based.
What was it previously?
There's different quantities. Like you can have
it was more than...
Yeah, far more than 4.
Okay.
But I think it's probably going more in the sense of more modern day shooters for PvP,
right.
like more squad-based stuff. But
right. Which is really interesting. That's a discussion for another episode, but it's fascinating how multiplayer games have switched from 128, 64v64 massive wars and brawls to like, I don't know if it's because of MOBAs or just like, or what, but yeah,
5v5. Nowadays
games are 5v5, 3v3, like by design, by default.
Yeah, I miss like not gun, but I forget the days of like, I remember like one of the huge things was when the game released that was like 254 versus 254.
It was like Battlefield, that was their thing. It still is.
Yeah, but who knows? But anyway, they downgraded their PvP. PvE, probably the best, one of the things that I'm excited about is that you no longer have to jump to orbit to transition between planets or transition between missions and things like that. One of the things that you hated was, okay, I'm in the sanctuary, I need to go to the moon. Jump to orbit, jump to the moon, like 2 loading screens. Okay, I'm in the moon, now I have a mission on Mars. Jump to orbit, jump to Mars. Go down onto Mars. I mean, now it's just kind of like, pull out the pause menu. I want to go here. Vroom, you're there. Like, you don't have to go up and out. You're just there. It's awesome.
Yep.
Like, it was a tiny
this
change
day and age.
that's just, like, amazing. It's like, oh, my God.
Yeah, absolutely.
The PC,
my time is precious, damn it.
The PC version is going to be through Blizzard.
This is super interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
This is incredibly unprecedented.
Mm-hmm.
Blizzard Battle.net, which is being renamed to the Blizzard Launcher or something like that.
Just Blizzard, period.
Blizzard. I'm going to open Blizzard by Blizzard, and have a Wendy's Blizzard. No, wait, that's not Dairy Queen Blizzard. Which one does the Blizzard?
Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen Blizzard.
Yeah.
Trademark. Anyway, Destiny is going to be the first non-Blizzard game and it's exclusive to the Blizzard launcher.
Exactly. It's going to be the very first...
That's what a fucking power move. They did not need to do that.
Okay, I mean, but think about it. You have PlayStation and you have Xbox, which originally it was for. Both of them have their own kind of like service, not really for PlayStation, not really for PC. You could say Microsoft does, but it's like all of a sudden you're instantly picking sides.
Right.
Blizzard is 100% just, PC. It's already has a great hosting system.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have even went with, I guess the nice thing about Blizzard is that it does have the built-in social network, which is probably why they went for it. But I mean, what do you think about it? Like, Blizzard, Uplay, Origin, Steam, I mean...
God, I downloaded the Gwent beta because that went live today. I haven't played it yet, but you have to have the GOG Galaxy launcher now.
God, there's another one.
I was like, is it worth it?
I'm surprised they went with Blizzard.
Bethesda has one.
Yeah. But I'm really surprised they went with Blizzard. I mean, it's going to work fine. I mean, it's going to work great.
I think it's going to work in everybody's advantage. I think Blizzard's going to benefit, and Bungie and Destiny are going to benefit. Like I said, they did not need to do that. They could have just released Steam or any platform or whatever.
But it's gonna, I think it should be real nice. I think it's going to be really cool.
Don't mind me. I'm just removing my eyeball here.
It's fine. I had the same problem. It's the allergy season, folks. But I'm going to end on this, and this is my final talking point. Now, the game is entitled Destiny 2, but is it really a sequel? I've only bring this up because I saw a lot of people starting to talk about it, and I think they bring up a lot of good points. They continue some of the story, like they definitely continue on the universe of the game, but is that enough to label it a sequel? It really doesn't change much of the game or how it functions. I mean,
this has been like the theme of our episode tonight.
It really has.
Interesting. Yeah,
but like, is that enough? Like, is it purely story continuation enough to label something a sequel? If you literally have the same exact game, just picking up where you left it, is that a sequel, or does it need to have some kind of form of improvement on it to be labeled a sequel?
It's so hard because this is going back to exactly what I was saying before. You have games like The Crew, Division, Overwatch. Well, Overwatch isn't a sequel, but like the fact that The Crew is getting The Crew 2, like they got to change the fact that they're doing a Crew 2 means it's got to be somewhere else. It's got to be providing something distinctly different. They can't re-release The Crew as The Crew 2, the same map and all that. It would just tank. It would never pass, the marketing department. But is there enough that is changing here that it's worth saying it's Destiny 2 because the game itself, not the story, but the game play is changing so drastically or improving so substantially? Like I think you said it best right in the Google Doc here. You got Destiny 1.5.
I think it's really the best way of labeling it because, for me, they did a lot of really good tweaks that the game needed, and they added on a lot of stuff that it did need, and a lot like the continuation of a story. Like, I mean, obviously, it's not even like it's continuing where the first one left off. The first one just kind of like ended with the last DLC. It's not like, oh my god, there's a thing in here about the Red Legion. Who are those guys? And then like it ended. It was just purely it ended. So,
right, like we were saying earlier, Dragon Age Inquisition ends with the absolute complete. Like Origins ends, Dragon Age 2 ends, but Inquisition ends with the full intention of see you next game.
Yeah, Destiny originally didn't really have it. They just kind of stopped and said we're gonna release another one. So I just don't know. I just don't know if I can hang my head on the fact that it's going to be a 2. It really is just like they should have just said like continuation of Destiny. Like it's not like it's going to be a DLC because obviously it's far more than just a DLC. But I don't know if I'd label it 2. It's hard. I mean, this is a different discussion for a different day.
How much
how much change really is needed to be a 2?
I don't know anything about this within Destiny itself. But has the engine changed?
Not really. I mean, it looks the same to me. The only reason why I think it could be considered a 2 would be because all the upcoming DLCs or any other DLCs will be off of this one. I mean, it's basically like the first one.
This is the new.
There's Destiny,
vanilla.
Then Destiny had 3 or 4 DLCs.
Yeah.
Now there's Destiny 2, and Destiny 2 will have 3 or 4 DLCs.
Right.
And I think maybe it's like 2 because it's like the next installment of like games and like add-ons.
Then
they'll stop and maybe they'll do like a Destiny 3 where they make the story go another direction and it's another set of DLCs.
Yeah, Star Wars Battlefront 2 has kind of a similar problem because of a couple of things. And this is like The Crew. Star Wars Battlefront was, okay, we've released the Star Wars shooter. This is it. This is great. We're going to release, everything from Endor to Hoth to Bespin to, whatever. We're going to add stuff as we go. And they did. And it just didn't take. So now they're releasing Star Wars Battlefront 2. Granted, this is coming out with a single-player campaign. That's substantial. But otherwise, I think it's literally the same engine, the same, probably reusing assets, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. But it's also in a really awkward period because it's coming out in between Star Wars. Obviously there's a trilogy that's going on and we're only in the middle of it right now. I don't think they're going to have any Last Jedi stuff in 2. Just like Star Wars Battlefront came out at the same exact time as The Force Awakens, but didn't have any Force Awakens stuff, at least at launch. This is going to come out, Battlefront 2 is going to have prequel, mid-generation, and Force Awakens only. So it's like there's this awkward, do you just wait for the franchise to finish and then say, okay, now the game that comes out after all that, that's the perfect one. Like Destiny 2 have they set the precedent that this is in the middle of a franchise, or is this just
I think it's the way they're going to go with it. I don't know if they've ever set the precedent, but it looks like they're going to be going down that way. Like it's going to be game DLC.
There's a perfect DLCs. Destiny 3 that's just waiting, and this is
I feel like they might
I
think they might just be pulling a WoW and just continuing it as far as it goes. Like the other thing is, since it's not subscription based, it's basically as long as they sell copies, they'll sell games. But who knows when it will stop? So who knows?
Right.
I still think there is a perfect world for Destiny eventually. Like I do think like it could reach a state where it could be like the quintessential MMO FPS, but who knows?
I love that you're holding a pen. It makes this
why.
suddenly so much more official. Like, let me tell you about Destiny. Okay, here's what Bungie needs to do. All of a sudden, it's like, whoa, this is really serious. A lot more serious than the little stick figure I made out of a twist tie last week.
Give me all your money.
Bottom line, again, I've never played Destiny. I will more than likely play Destiny 2, barring any like massive
effects.
Barring any massive like unplayable launch situation, which is not out of the question.
With your processor,
with my system, let alone with video games in general.
Yeah.
I'll probably play it. Why? Can I just ask? Why are all of Bungie's guns shaped like they're like this? They're like they all come to this like triangle point
at the very top of it.
They all go like that. It's like I don't know what it is, if it's their point of view or what, but every single time I see Halo or Destiny, the guns are like.
Okay, I can kind of see what you're saying now.
Like the profile incredibly long. And they come to a point like right here, and it's just like I can't see the enemy. It's just this massive triangular barrel on the screen. Every gun, it's like a pistol. It's like, oh, I've pulled my headphones out. I got excited. I'm back.
Oh, I can see what you're talking
every
about there.
One.
Yeah,
Halo 2. It's like every gun. They get this crazy point of view, and they come to a point. No, I don't know. Sure. Destiny 2. That's my official opinion on it.
Big guns.
Yeah.
Weird shapes.
Yeah.
Now, well, we're going to put a pin in the Destiny 2 for a little while, but I wouldn't say something big is coming out this Friday, but something that's very interesting that seems to be getting a lot of press right now, and Tom, I need to take it away because it's more up your alley than is mine.
Well, there's not much out there about it, but a game called RiME is coming out this Friday. This has been talked about at least since January, maybe before then. It looks a lot like Breath of the Wild. That's the kind of first thing. It's the same exact kind of visual aesthetic as Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's a boy, a young boy, I think a bird. I can't remember now. I don't want to distract.
It's a boy,
but it's a boy and an animal, and he's on an island and he has to solve puzzles. Video game.
Hooray!
It looks nice. It looks like it'll be a fun game to play. There's a very specific kind of subgenre of game that it looks like it'll fit into. It's those soft colors of like The Witness or Overwatch or Breath of the Wild. I think based on an IGN preview that I skimmed, so very valid. Based on secondhand information that I read quickly, it's a puzzle game above all else. Linear kind of puzzling adventure that just looks nice and feels nice to play. So I will be watching for this and maybe picking it up, but that's out this Friday. RiME.
And that's going to cover all of our news features this week. We're going to move into our playlist. Now, we both have quite a few games to put on our playlist, something that hopefully we won't spend too much time on. But okay, so my playlist this week. Got 2 new games to talk about. One new game, one older game that's new to me. First one I want to talk about is RimWorld, a game that I've had my eye on for a very, very, very long time, and decided that finally pulled the trigger on it when I saw it on the Humble store. It's one of those like settlement management games that's just like. It goes the extra mile. Like it has an extra layer to it. It's not like No Moria, but it's like it's going to that like level. It's not like it's above SimCity.
It's not Dwarf Fortress, but
no, it's not. It's not no more of like Dwarf Fortress, but it's like it's more than SimCity. Like it's like more than City Skylights.
The entertainment is in the random, the systems at work.
Yeah, I mean, you're trying. Like you could literally be like trying to manage food intake, energy consumption, temperature monitoring. Then all of a sudden, there's a swarm of man-eating beavers that just appears on the map. Like literally, that's like RimWorld.
Just an average Tuesday.
Yeah, or like whenever like you think things can't get any worse, there's a random raid by another colony or something like that. Yeah. So like I've already died. I'm on 3 or 4. I think I'm on my 3rd settlement. The first 2 have died horribly. First one ran out of food. The second one just got shot to pieces. And so far, this one is living. It's a game that like you love playing it because it's not, like I said, it's one of those games that it's so insane and just throws so many wacky things at you that it's just like you just want to keep on playing it because you want to keep on getting these little random events. But it's also a very
FTL.
Yeah, it's a very complex management simulator. So it's like there's a lot that goes into it. And I feel like I watched a few like YouTubers and streamers that play it, and I feel like once you know kind of like how to position everything and when to get what and how to do things and like how to prioritize different things, you kind of magically figure out the formula, and then you just kind of like basically Minecraft it of what can I build next.
Yeah,
but it's still a fun game. It's a really cool game.
Yeah, this is one that's been on my radar, so I'm glad to know that you've been doing it.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I'm probably gonna keep on streaming it here and there as I get the chance to play it. But
do you, when everything goes to hell with a colony or civilization, is that like game over for that and you just have to start over? Or is it salvageable in any way?
It probably could be.
For a stronger person than I.
Well, the first one was purely as I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was kind of getting it to salvage, like to a point where I could potentially keep on playing with and salvage it, but I felt like I was so far behind the 8 ball in certain things. I'm like, there's no point. Like I started to research way too late, so I feel like I'm already I already put myself so late in the game.
Because like a game like FTL, you know, it's a roguelike in the sense that roguelike being a genre where if you die, you start over, and in true roguelikes, you have something you've gained from your previous experience, you know,
exactly.
Whether it's knowledge or something you physically like. Because you got to level 5, you now have a permanent stat buff
or something like that. No, this is really just, I saw it happening. I saw the train threatening to go off the tracks. I just said, screw it. I'll just start over.
Delete save.
Like the first one, I could have potentially salvaged. The second one, I don't think there's any way. Everyone in my colony was dying. So I'm just like, there's no way. Because I was already understaffed as it was. So it's just like, meh. So far, this one looks decently good until I probably kill everyone tomorrow.
Do you feel like it's luck of the draw? Or
no, I feel like, because I really feel like the only thing that draw does, I mean, like you can basically pick where you start. So you can already say like whether or not you want to be in a mountainous environment or a flat environment. And the only thing that does is really like, do you build into a mountain or do you just build up houses in a flat plain? Like that's really the only two options. I mean, sometimes you get a lucky map where you have far more resources or far more mineable resources or maybe far more animals on the map. But I don't really think there's too much draw. Everything is so procedurally generated. It's just kind of like you get what you get and you either are thankful or not thankful for it. And then it really is just I think the game really works itself out, and like you get to a point where you just know how to work the game. So regardless of what the situation is that you get, you know how to balance it out. And I think that's really where the game really shines. So I mean, I just like the game. It's a fun little game, especially if you like really put into like you really get into like their characters' backstories and like their relationships between the characters and like what they're doing and things they make and like stuff like that, and just like. But yeah, it's just a fun and wacky little game. It's a game that you just constantly want to, hey, pretty ideal. Thanks for joining us. Yes, oh my god, I know. But yeah.
I am 3/4 of the way of catching up through this week's rollout, and I just have gotten to the part where friggin' Tiernan goes ape on the crocodile. It's just like, holy shit. I wish I was a good artist because I want to just draw fan art of just like everyone like of Iris being like fuck off. Just like it was great. It's so great. If you aren't watching Rollout yet.
So yeah, if you couldn't tell, Pretty Ideal is one of the players on the Dragon Age stream on Osmill's Twitch.
And just an all-around good human being.
I'm lurking. Didn't mean to interrupt. No, please don't. We love the lurkers and the interrupters, so please come join us more often.
Interrupt away. I will chat for hours.
Pretty Ideal. Go check them out at Osmills. But anyway, so RimWorld, I really like it. I'm going to keep on reporting on it. It's one of those games where it's a game that you always want to pop back into. Like, especially because there's mod support for it. The mods really make the game. I feel like but the mods also like make it far more difficult. I feel like if I did it without mods, I probably would have been far better off. But since I watched people that had all these mods, I'm like, well, I want them too. And like it just made things even more.
I want my entire civilization to be bears.
I think you actually can do that.
I believe it.
But yeah, so that was RimWorld. The second game I played is a cool little roguelike, which is funny that you mentioned it. Cool little roguelike called Deadcells, which is, it kind of like took the world by storm. It was like one of those games that no one ever heard of.
Yeah, I've been seeing this all over the place like these past 2 weeks.
It was like no one ever heard of it. It hit Steam, and then all of a sudden it went through the roof. Like everyone instantly started to cover it. I'm like, I saw it on a few people like before it truly exploded. I'm like, I'll give it a shot. I streamed it for a little while. It's a really good, well-done roguelike. I mean, it is challenging. It is fun. It does the true roguelike setting of every time you die, and you die a lot, you come back, stronger with new abilities or new weapons and things like that. And you keep on like getting a little bit further and a little bit further and a little bit further. And it's just like, it's like one of those platformers where like I don't really know how to describe it. Like I'm playing it on a controller, but it's like one of those platformers where like it controls how you feel like it should control. Like, it just feels good to control versus, like, it's not awkward, it's not quirky, it's just, like, hit A to jump, and, like, you jump when you think you're gonna jump and everything else. Like, it just feels nice.
That's super underrated. Like, that sounds like a dumb
weird little thing, but it's...
When it's done right, you're just like,
It's just, it's one less hurdle to get into the game, it's one less hurdle to be fully brought into a game, because it actually just feels like you can just hop in, you hit A to start, and you're just like instantly playing it, and like everything is where you think it's gonna be, and that's like it's unheard of. So like all the double jumping and everything else, but it's a cool little roguelike. I'm not like I love like stuff like FTL, but I'm not like a true roguelike person. I like the specialty roguelikes like FTL or like Everspace and stuff like that. They're all cool little roguelikes, but in terms of just purely, hey, it's like Dark Souls where you die constantly, but you just keep on constantly trying to work further into the story by constantly dying. It's like, So, but this one is fun. I do like it. I would recommend it to anyone that likes platformers or roguelikes. I definitely would 100% recommend it to people. Like, I have no hesitation on that one. But just for me personally, it's a game that I would probably go in and play every once in a while, but it's not like for me, it's going to be one of those games where I rush home to play it. But I could see some people just really getting into the game. It has a really good difficulty curve. That's
my time, and you know this, my time as of late is incredibly limited. And so I've started to really value procedurally generated games because they're just things where it's like, if you get that, what you're talking about, something that just feels good to play, and you could just dip in and play it for as long as the span of time you have available. And, you'll get fun out of 5 minutes, but you also get fun out of 55 minutes. You'll get fun out of, 3 hours with it. So that sounds really appealing to me. Like what you're describing, just something that feels good to play.
It's quick, it's easy. Like you could spend
a bit of a different adventure each time you're playing.
You can spend 15-20 minutes into it and probably get a solid session into it. That's the thing.
And you feel like you got your satisfaction of, I have played a good game today. I feel I've leveled up as a person.
Exactly.
Is it me? What?
Zombie said, is Tom about to mention Zelda again?
Breath of the Wild is a really good game.
And there you go. But with that, Tom...
Nobody commented on the fact that in this week's... Because I do the artwork that promotes our shit all over the internet. And every time I'm promoting this, I try and put something in the word bubbles under our faces that's like relevant to what we're talking about. And nobody acknowledged the fact that under yours I put, Destiny 2, Far Cry 5, E3, and under mine in a completely shitty font says anime girls are real. Nobody. Is it just like an expected thing of like, yeah, it's classic Tom?
This is just how it happens. It's just
Yeah, that seems about right.
But yeah, why don't you go into your playlist?
So I actually have played a couple of things, mostly all over the course of one day. I had like this span of time from 6 a.m. to like 1 in the afternoon on Saturday, and I was just like, shit, I'm gonna play some itch games. So I played a couple. Some of them weren't great, but some of them really were. And one of them was a visual novel for a game. It was a demo for a visual novel game called Cardinal Cross. And what first drew me, actually, I don't think I saw this on itch initially. I saw this, someone else on Twitter was talking about it. And it was a screenshot of it. I thought, that's cool. That looks really cool. I like that. I'm not usually a big visual novel person. Like I don't play them actively, but I will if it seems like it's appealing. And as I started reading more, I thought, okay, it's a cyberpunk kind of smuggler, grungy cyberpunk kind of world. I'm into that. That's my shit. Okay, cool. This will be good. And I'm looking through the reviews on itch, and it's really funny because everyone's like, oh, I'm so glad you've released this. I've been waiting for your next game. So obviously this is from a developer that's known. I haven't looked at any of her other games yet, or their other games yet. But it's coming from someone who's established in this world. The demo will last you like an hour, and
that's a long demo.
It's good when you're just fucking slapped in the face with "Thanks for playing." Like when you just get, I'm playing this, I'm like, I was instantly like, okay, this is cool. I'm into this. I really like the illustration of it. I love the character design. It's really cool. I like the humor. It's obviously going for a Firefly Han Solo smuggler kind of like, hey, we're all kind of wisecrackers. We're all having a good time, lighthearted. Intriguing stuff. I was eager to find out more. It was hopping between scenes, and it was holding my attention. There was one point where it broke for a mini game. You get into a gunfight, and it basically did a rhythm action thing where press the key when it comes up, and that worked. That was fine. Didn't pull me out, but didn't do anything spectacular either. But then I'm playing, and it's like the story's escalating, and it hits this one spot, and it's just like coming 2018. I was like, oh, it's not even like I could instantly buy it. It's not out yet. But I do recommend it if you're a fan of interactive fiction, visual novels, cyberpunk, it's cool. It's got a cool style. It's not, the problem I have with visual novels is they do tend to veer into weird anime sub-fetish territory a lot. And so that's what makes me go like, oh, this looks cool. I start looking up stuff on it. I'm like, whoa, okay, that's not my kink. That's somebody else's. Okay, that's cool. But this didn't do anything that left me feeling uncomfortable as a person.
Well, Zombie said she's downloading it now, so she's going to give it a try.
Yeah, I think, Nikki, I think you'll like it. Again, it's an hour. I mean, it took me an hour. I'm a skimmer when I read.
And so it's pretty ideal. So hey, you got the whole
game. Oh,
right.
Hey, great guys, that's awesome. Yeah, I think you'll like it. I don't know, it's cool. I recommend it. It's an hour out of your night. But that's Cardinal Cross. I'm eager for the full one to come out. I will probably get it. One of the other things I played was something called Causeway, and this was actually talked about a lot around the time that I wasn't on here, so I'm super late to this party. But it's a one-trick pony. I mean that in a good way. It's an itch game / thing that which will drive its point home pretty obviously. There are those games that it's like, I get you. So it's called Causeway. That's a sort of a pun. You're on an island, and there's a path forward, and there's a little message in a bottle, and it says, like, you determine your path in life. And it'll say, you're leaving home. Where do you go? And you'll reach a fork, and two paths go to two separate islands. And one says the city, and the other one says the country. And so it's like,
okay, yep,
yep. And so it hits it right on the nose, and then you go to the country. And what actually was cool is it does kind of this made the theater nerd in me happy. Very minimal props that just spoke volumes. So you just see boxes on an island and like a desk and a chair, and then it says like, you have an option. You've got a job. There's a graphic designer that's a big graphic designer that's eyeballing you, or an art museum that has asked to show some of your pieces. And it's like, do you follow career or passion? And so I did my first run through as like trying to emulate my own life. So I went passion, and it's like the art exhibit does well. Then you meet a beautiful girl at the exhibit and you start talking to her and you really hit it off. What do you do? And it's like casual, romantic. And so this carries on. I'm not going to spoil it. But it just keeps forking off. And so like, as you meet the girl, I will say this, like I did romantic. And then all of a sudden, there's two chairs at the table and there's a couple of glasses of wine. And it's just like the props change just a little bit, but it speaks so much. So it's cool. It's a cool little thing. I understand why games media was like, this is great. It made its point really quickly. My only complaint is that was incredibly slow to walk through. So like I did one run through, and then when I did another one, I was like, okay, I need a sprint button. Just get me to the next option that I hadn't made. So I actually only ended up doing 3 because I just was like, I don't have the time to do more. But that's called Causeway. I don't know if I'd say go check it out, but I thought it was interesting and worth mentioning. Third thing that I played is called Sonic Time Twisted, which is an incredible Sonic fan game. It's a fully fledged, multi-level Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic CD era Sonic game. I would have believed that this was released by Sega. This is incredible. This was released.
Really?
This
Wow.
is on PC, complete free download, 9 levels with like past and future iterations of each one. You could play as Sonic, Knuckles, or Tails. The music is completely on point. The visual, the level design, it's a Sonic game that I'm surprised this hasn't been shut down because it's better than like most recent Sonic games. If you want that, I know Sonic Mania is coming out soon, but if you want that feel now, Sonic Time Twisted, it'll scratch the itch perfectly. It is a completely perfectly done Sonic game. Not much more I could say on it besides that.
Sounds like it's a good enough review for me.
Is it that magical time of the episode?
It is that magical time of the episode. It is the free game of the week. And it's funny because when we started this episode, we actually had 2 games on there, which is why it's up on the corner over here. It's 2 games. But realistically, we could have had 3 games on there this week. We really had Cardinal Cross, Causeway, and this one, which is going to be one.
And Sonic.
And Sonic. So yeah, 4 of them. We technically have 4 free games of the week this week.
Holy shit, are you guys winning tonight or what?
We are losing money on this deal.
Wow.
I mean, you should know that see it pretty ideal. But yeah, you should know that.
Thank you so much for coming to join us.
Yes, thank you. But yeah, so we have 4 free games of the week this week. The actual free game of the week this week is a game called Ravenfield. It's another itch.io game that I played this week, and oh my god, did I have fun with this game. It's this game, like, it's a first-person, like, Battlefield game. But it's just like, it's red team versus blue team, and you're like a red blob and a blue blob. You're not really a blob, but you're like a stick figure, like a cartoony stick figure. And like,
maybe I want to be a blob.
And like the tanks are like really corny and like very rough pixelated.
Oh, I've seen this. I know what you're talking about now.
Like,
Yeah.
And like, you have like these like decently kind of realistically looking weapons, but it is just a hilariously fun game. Like,
it's physicsy.
Yeah, it's very physicsy. If you
Yeah.
get hit with something, you go flying. And but
Yeah.
like, if you shoot someone, like you get red splotches or blue splotches on the ground, so you can see like where the battles are happening and where people are dying, and like you can see helicopters flying overhead and stuff like that. And it's just like it's this fun little.
This
like,
is constantly
Battlefield game.
really high on the itch charts.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I tried it on a whim. It's just a fun little game. It is a really fun game. It's a game where like you could even set it to be like 500 v 500, just depending on what your computer can handle, and it's just like hilarious. It's just like it just goes from like 0 to 1,000 instantly. Like you can. Like, from the very first encounter onward, you're just constantly like, oh shit, things are happening. Oh my god, get down. No, run away.
So I thought this was a multiplayer game. This is single player? Or
at least the demo was. At least the one on Itch is 1,000% single player.
I thought this was a team shooter.
No, it's very player versus NPC. I mean, it's
That's cool.
At least the one on Itch is 100% NPC based. But, oh my god, is it fun. And difficult. I mean, it's still very difficult. There is a Steam version of it that has a few more weapons and things like that. I'm not sure what else it has, but the Steam version does have a few more things. But you can still play the demo on Itch, and oh my god, is it fun! It is just like if you just want it as a cool little shoot 'em up that's just like exciting. It's great. You can pop on, play for a few minutes, get your you don't have to
get your fix.
Basically, get your feel of it, and like you don't have to like log into Battlefield or log into Call of Duty or Titanfall. You can literally just a few button clicks. Put in your parameters, hit go, it generates, and you're just off and running. And it's just so much fun.
That brings me back to the days of, do you remember, what was it called? Like Interactive Buddy. It was a Flash game where you just...
Sauerbraten?
No. It was, it was something like My Buddy or Interactive Buddy, something like that. And you had a ragdoll and you could change it to look, I remember the period of time you could change it to look like George Bush or whatever.
From Addicted Games, right?
Yeah, Addicted Games had it, I think.
It's a browser game.
Yeah, it might have been on Newgrounds too.
Oh my god, yeah.
And
Interactive
the
Buddy.
whole thing about it
Interactive Buddy 2. Yeah.
And you set different parameters like, okay, there's zero gravity or there's a vortex here.
Oh my
and you could like
yeah.
throw baseballs at him and either you catch him or you throw it at his head. It was just like a ragdoll game. Just here, have this ragdoll do what you want with it. You could throw you could shoot a rocket launcher at it. You could do all sorts of crazy things. Yeah. So there's a sixth free game of the week for you. I've lost count.
Interactive Buddy. Talk about a true flashback. 2004.
We should have an episode.
Yeah.
We should have an episode where we specifically talk Flash games because there's so
many good ones.
Penguin Extreme is still out there.
Oh my god, Penguin Extreme.
That's the head comes. This landmines. It was so dumb. I loved it. Oh my god. Spank the Monkey.
I was thinking that one too.
Spank the Monkey.
The dumbest little game that
Stick RPG.
Oh, Stick RPG. That one really should have been a full-time game.
Stick RPG was like really good.
Yeah, that was like if it had a studio behind it, that would have been a fun game.
It's called Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah.
Basically.
What are you gonna do? I'm gonna go to the bar and drink
Just gamble.
Intelligent.
Just gamble.
Wait, what?
Just
You're drinking yourself
gambling.
smart? Yes, I'm drinking myself smart. God damn it.
I'm gaining wisdom by
drinking constantly and getting into brawls.
God. Yeah, no, we should do like a this is some inside baseball here, but we should do like a Flash specific one because they're still out there.
We could. I mean, we could easily do that with all the. Oh my god,
games.
There's so many cool games for free.
But we have been going at this for 2 hours, so let's end there.
It is about that time. So, with that, if you're listening to us in the future, well, thank you for listening to us in the future. If you joined us live on Twitch, thank you very much. But as always, we always announce the day of the week and the time which we'll be doing our live streams for this podcast, typically Mondays through Fridays, anywhere between 7 to 9. But besides that, you can capture all this and more at
one
our
of those days, Mondays through Fridays. Not every day.
Yes, I said
one of those
any
days,
day, Monday through Wednesday, 7 to 9, somewhere in there, one time a week.
Yeah.
But you can capture all of this and more at our website, which is addictedtoloot.com. You can get our group email, which is addictedtoloot@gmail.com. Please drop us an email with, hey, things you want us to talk about, things that you just like or dislike. Hey, if you want to appear on the show, drop us a line. We'd be more than happy to have you. You can get links to our Facebook, which is Facebook.com/addictedtoloot, YouTube, same one. Twitch, twitch.tv/addictedtoloot. You can subscribe to our audio-only podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. We do also export our live stream to YouTube, or at least we try to. You can always go on Twitch at any given time to cast the recording and the replay of our live stream. If you want to, if you're listening to this and you want to get a sneak peek of the podcast before Friday, log on to Twitch. From the time we record it till Friday, you get a whole episode before everyone else does. Special feature just for you guys. You can get our group.
Literally only have tomorrow to do this, so act fast.
Yeah. So at Addicted to Loot is our group Twitter. You can always catch both. Basically, it goes to both of us. So if you ever want to drop us a line, quick message, love this stuff, hate this stuff. Hey, check out this news piece. Anything you want, please send it to us.
Shout out to this guy here, guy, because he's been doing a great job of managing our Twitter page.
Thank you, Crowdfire. But anyway,
hot and sizzling.
But you can also get our individual Twitters, which is I am at ATL_Atomic Zero, so that is Addicted to Loot _Atomic Zero, but ATL. And
that's different. You've changed.
I announced that last week, and you just kind of Yes.
Wow, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I'm officially a different handle now. I am not fifth anymore. I am ATL_Atomic Zero. Officially branding myself.
Rebranding.
I am officially Addicted to Loot. And joining me as always is Tomality, which is at Tomality, TOMALITY.
That's it, yeah. That's Tomality, which is spelled at Tomality.
The at symbol, TOM. So it's at TOMALITY.
T as in Tomality.
O as in oh my god, it's Tomality over there. M is mommy, look, it's Tomality.
It's Tomality.
A, it's... I can't even think of
what we probably should stop.
Yeah, we should
done. Probably stop.
But as always, this has been episode 43 of the Addicted to Loot podcast, and
keep it Tomality.